Hey friends, I want to tell you about a strategy that made money for 6 months. It had a beautiful equity curve. It had a profit factor above 1.4. And every single number in it was wrong. Not slightly wrong, completely wrong. And the reason it was wrong is something almost nobody checks. So today I'm going to show you exactly how a backtest lies to you, how I caught mine, and the 3 checks that will save you from the same thing. Here's the curve I was looking at. Up and to the right. Some drawdowns, nothing scary. If you showed me this on someone else's channel, I'd believe them. I believed me. And that's the first thing to understand. A good-looking backtest is not evidence of anything. It's a hypothesis. It's the beginning of the work, not the end of it. Because here's the uncomfortable truth about testing strategies. If you try enough ideas on the same data, some of them will look profitable purely by chance. That's not a flaw in your method. That's just statistics. Test 20 random strategies, and one of them will look great. It isn't great. It's the lucky one. Your job is to figure out which one you're holding. So what went wrong with mine? I did something I'd never bothered to do before. I audited the data itself. Not the strategy. The data. I counted how many trading days were actually present in my price history and compared it to how many should have been there. 58%. My gold data was 58% complete. Almost half the price history was missing, and I had no idea. My downloader had been running too many parallel requests. The server rate limited it, and every one of those refusals got recorded as no data for that hour. Not as an error, as silence. The gaps just looked like quiet market. So I fixed the downloader, slowed it down, added retries, made it tell me when a request actually failed instead of pretending the market was closed. Got the data back up to 99.4% complete. And then I ran the exact same strategy again. On the broken data, plus 0.022 R per trade. On the clean data, plus 0.002 R, profit factor 1.00. That is a coin flip. The edge never existed. It was made entirely out of missing candles. 6 months of work, built on a hole in a file. So lesson 1, and it's the one nobody talks about. Audit your data before you audit your strategy. If your history has gaps, everything downstream of it is fiction. Now here's the second trap, and this one is harder because it feels like working hard. After that strategy died, I went looking for another one. And when you go looking, you find things. That's the problem. I tested different hours, different filters, different exits. Eventually something looks good. But if you test 50 things and pick the best one, you haven't found an edge. You found the luckiest number in a pile of noise. The fix for this is something borrowed from medical research, and it changed how I work more than any indicator ever has. It's called pre-registration. Before you look at the results, you write down what you're testing, what counts as success, and what would make you reject it. In a file, with a date. Then you run it. Why does writing it down first matter so much? Because it takes away your ability to move the goalposts. If I decide beforehand that success means a t-statistic above 2.5, then when I get 2.1, that's a failure. If I decide afterwards, 2.1 becomes close enough. Same number. Completely different conclusion. The only difference is when I decided. And you split your data. You develop on the older half, and you seal the newer half away and don't look at it. That sealed part is your one honest test. But here's the part people get wrong. You only get to open it once. The moment you look at it and go back to tune your strategy, it's contaminated. It's not out of sample anymore. It's just more training data with extra steps. So I did all of that. I found a second effect on gold. Pre-registered it. It passed the sealed test. Passed the purge for overlapping trades. Passed cross-validation with 100% positive paths. By every statistical standard I had, it was real. And then I ran one more test. And that test is the one I want you to remember. I took the exact same rule, changed nothing, and ran it on 7 other markets. Silver, the S&P, the Nasdaq, the Dow, Euro-dollar, pound-dollar, pound-yen. 0 of 7 passed. 6 of the 7 lost money. 3 of them lost significantly. My effect existed in exactly one instrument on Earth and nowhere else. And that tells you something statistics alone can't. If a strategy works because of a real reason, that reason usually exists in more than one market. If it works in exactly one place and dies everywhere else, the most likely explanation isn't that you found a secret. It's that you found noise, and the story you told yourself about why it works was written after you saw the result. So what actually survived all this? One small effect on gold. Around 36 trades a year. Roughly 2% annually at 0.5% risk per trade. That's it. That's what's left after 2 months of honest work. And I want to be straight with you about that number, because most channels would not show it to you. It's small. It's real, as far as I can tell, and it's small. Those two things are allowed to be true at once. So here's what I take from this. Check your data before you trust your results. Decide what success means before you look. And test your idea somewhere it's never been. Not because you want it to fail, but because if it's real, it can survive that. And if it can't survive that, you'd rather find out on a spreadsheet than on your account. That's the whole game. Not finding the perfect strategy. Learning to tell the difference between a real one and a story. Thanks for watching, friends. See you on the other side.